The third pillar of empowerment is training. And training is tied into and interwoven through all that is MVP. Training is simply an education brought from the stage of how to use the toolkit. Training is embodied in the events calendar. Training is that advice that is given to you specifically by your upline. Training is that advice that's given to you on the weekly North American web sessions. Training is the embodiment of all. Training encompasses so much. But recognize again the simple comment made in the tools section. Tools do not do the work. People do the work. There is a difference. There is a difference in the response when one who is properly trained puts a CD in someone's hands. You see, Nate is doing my recording right now, and if I invite Nate, I've known you for a while now. I know a few things about you. I know how dearly you care and love for your family. I know how much you invest in success in your career. I know how committed you are to the process. Nate, if I can show you how to turn those natural attributes into a greater outcome for you and your family, Nate, would you be willing to invest 7 minutes listening carefully to find you? Nate, if I give you this CD, will you listen for the next 7 minutes and look for you in it? And then, Nate, can you and I talk about it tomorrow morning? You see, what was just evidenced was a skill, an invitation skill. Contemplate the difference of, hey, Nate, I came across something that I found interesting. Listen to this. You see, the same tool will not have the same outcome. It depends upon the method of delivery. Training is where we do our very best to impart to you that which you'll need to know in order for the tool to do the designed work. You know, as we talk about training, there are a couple of illustrations that I like to use. One way to view this is that you are an ingredient in a recipe. You are an ingredient in a recipe. And you're given an opportunity to become a catalyst ingredient. The ingredient that gives it flavor, the ingredient that gives it spice and savor, the ingredient that makes it good, that makes it tasty, that makes a person come back. What kind of ingredient are you now? Until properly trained, you may be somewhat of a bland ingredient. You see, the tool will do the talking, but the way you introduce the tool has everything to do with the way that it will be received by the other party. When you become an effective ingredient in the process, when you become that catalyst ingredient that gives it savor, when you become that catalyst ingredient that makes it desirable for others, that is when you've evidenced the fact that you're properly trained in the utilization of tools. Another way that we might consider this is if I were to give now a group of 20 people all a list of ingredients and a recipe and say, here, go bake a cake. Would all 20 come out with the same end result? No. Some would have an absolutely extraordinary cake and some would have a disaster. What's the difference? Same ingredients and the same recipe. The difference is some have learned how to bake and some have not. I invite you to delve fully into the events calendar of Monavie. I invite you to delve fully into the tools made available by Monavie through MVP. I invite you to delve fully into participation in the community, and in so doing, know that you're essentially learning how to bake. You're learning how to be a chef in the utilization of these tools and process. That's so you can have the greatest possible outcome. You can be an extraordinary ingredient. I'm committed to helping you along that path.